Villagers. Love them, hate them, possibly want to commit various heinous crimes against them because for some reason they don't want to be locked in a 1x1 cage with a zombie staring at them for the sole fact that you made eat iron, or maybe they just don't want to have thousands of raids supposedly being released upon their village for days on end. But who knows, they probably just have some internal insecurities that they don't want to open up to about. Anyways, going off the human rights violations, villagers are one of the, if not the most useful mob of the game. Not only do they have the capabilities of providing infinite valuable resources, they are also very useful for trading with. But as I have covered, for some reason they aren't naturally submissive to eternal enslavement. So why not develop a mechanism that saves the player the annoyance of dealing with villagers' rights worker unions? Also, the observant of you may have noticed a striking resemblance of my trading hall with Nico's, and that is because the basic logic behind it is very, very identical. So you could ask, why? Why steal someone else's idea? Well, it's actually pretty simple. The logic is exactly what I want, and I'm not going to go out of my way to reinvent the wheel when I just use someone else's idea. The first and most important thing is being able to put the villagers in whatever cell I want. In normal halls, especially ones that use minecarts, you can choose a hall pretty easily, but you can't sort them into specific cells. The goal is to be able to slap a few note blocks and being able to put villagers in whatever cell in the entire system. Let's just say, for instance, I have a mending villager, but I have already set aside a few cells for efficiency villagers. I want to be able to select a certain cell and being able to drop them to that specific cell. And let's just say, for instance, I don't have a specific cell selected. I want it to be able to be like other trading halls and being able to drop them to the first available cell. And the second most important thing is being able to move them in and out of cells. This is purely so I can have full control over the entire system. This is so I can remove villagers from their free trial of life, or just move them to a different cell in the system. Or perhaps, simply I just want to motivate them into giving me a better price. These are the high priority objectives, and there are a few quality of life features that I'll be adding in that are not as important. The most important thing of any trading hall is the UI of trading itself. There are 1 wide tileable designs out there, but for the logic that I want, I'll be doing with a 2 wide tileable design. This was the design I was going to go with. It's pretty simple. You got the villager, you press the button, and it'll drop him out, but I didn't really like it very much because it's just button on the floor and all that. I was going to have the light up here. I am going to have the light up here to actually indicate that that's where I want the villager to be when I drop it in. But that requires me to do a bit more logic. This is the concept I came up with of being able to decide if a villager is actually in the cell or not. So for instance, if we have a villager in the cell, this will be down. And let's just say we want to get rid of the villager. We can hit the note block behind it and it will drop it down. And since we don't actually have a villager in the cell, hitting the note block won't actually do anything because this is set to the off state. I added a little bit so when we put a villager in the cell and it is detected, it will now have a system to when we actually hit the note block, it'll send a pulse to wherever to send a minecart to pick up the villager. So I'll drop it in here and if a minecart can easily pick it up and all that. So now I just need to figure out the actual logic above to be able to detect when we have a villager in here, so we can like take a rail, drop it in, and all that. This is the best idea I got, is being able to just drop them into a trapdoor down there. So for instance, we have the villager, and when he gets pushed, he'll be dropped into here, which we can detect with a piece of string and an observer. And now I have to figure out a way of powering that and the trapdoor. Okay, this is the best idea I got so far. Is just string. I just added 2 observers down there to be able to detect when a villager gets placed into its cell. So now if we power it, it'll drop them directly into the cell and it will make the little latch. And with that, let's say we don't want the villager anymore, we hit the note block behind it and it'll drop it down and send out a pulse. So now I have to figure out the logic of selecting a specific cell, I believe. I think this is the best idea I'm going to have, is to be able to select a specific cell is having the note block here and then the indicator lamp a little bit above. But now I have to figure out how I'm actually going to do the logic behind to dictate where I want to drop in the villager. I think this is the basic logical circuit of what I'll be doing. Is, let's just say I want to drop the villager into this cell. I would have to trigger this one to not allow those to actually being able to turn on the activator rail, which will force it to drop into this cell. But now I have to figure out how to add it to that. I'm running into an issue of trying to figure out how exactly I'm going to bud this piston and have the ability to turn off the activator rail. Because I can't just use a redstone block, because you can't just like stop a redstone block from being a redstone block. So I think I'm actually gonna have to, I don't know. I believe I have something of mild value going on. I replaced it with a target block, which target blocks are a bit expensive, but it's fun. So we have the ability to turn on and off the activator rail. But let's just say we want to, let's just say we put in a villager. It just redirects the dust to being able to bud power the piston. So now, let's just say we want to get rid of the villager, we can do that. So now I have to figure out how to get that logic into this here. Alright, I'm actually running into a bit of an issue. What I'm trying to do is trying to figure out how to make it all activate only using node blocks instead of using levers. Because the thing is with this one down here, let's just say, flick this, and I want to use this one. If I flick this one, no matter what, this one won't be activated. So I have to figure out a way of being able to turn off that one, but I'm not exactly sure how to do that. Alright, I think I did figure out a bit of the logic. We're using another bud power, but I think the strategy is, let's just say we have this one down and I want to exchange it for that one there. What has to happen is I have to bud power that, then power that down to put it into that state. So and the problem is I only have one rail going across, so it can only, let's just say, for instance, I have this one activated. If I wanted to like somehow have the circuit from here, power that, I'd have to send a signal all the way to the beginning and then through. But I think that could mess stuff up, so I'll probably run 2 different rails, one going that way, one going that way, to send an update to the piston. So it'll be this, then that down. Okay, I'm gonna figure out how to implement that. Alright, my idea right now is to be able to send a signal through and to push down a redstone block to turn off the comparator, which will turn off every other activator rail going that way. So, yeah. I think with the space constraint, I'm going to have to put it back here. Piston. So we have something like that. So I can take the output of this and send it to there. But now I need to figure out a way how to put 2 signals down under here. I think that's the place I'm going to put them. But I'm going to have to figure that out. Alright. I think this is the basic logic of what I'm going to do. It's just I believe a falling edge here. So we have the piston, we can push it down, and it'll trigger both of these, but not this one, because the piston's keeping it pushed down. So now what I need to figure out how to do, I have to make sure it's tileable and all that. But the problem is I'm running into, if I want to have, the way with these pistons, another one would be tiled right here and keeping that pushed. So I think the best bet is literally just using a composter and comparator down here instead, so I'm not powering this piston head. I believe I have the redstone in now to be able to send a signal to the back to be able to send the update. So if you hit this now, it'll send it, push it down for 8 game ticks, which is long enough to send 2 pulses out, which will cancel everything going this way. So the only thing I'm running into an issue now is how to send a signal to the redstone lamp to turn on. I think I may have to use like a toggle state, which I'm not happy about, but I think it's something I'll just have to do. Okay. I believe I believe I did do what I wanted to. Now when you hit the note block, this lamp will turn on. It is a toggle state here, but that's fine. And now when you send another signal to depower it, it will. And I believe this is all 2-wide tileable now, so I'm going to tile it just to see exactly if it will work. Alright, I tiled it up 2 more times just to see exactly how it works. I have all the logic in and all that. So I guess the next thing to do is just test. So let's just say I want this cell to be activated. It activates. We have... This is the only one on, the other 2 are off. Okay, good. So let's just say I want to switch to this cell. All 3 should just still be on and that comparator should be off. Yeah, okay. Switch to middle. Middle one's on, that one turns off. Okay. Boop. There's no block. Switches. Okay. So I guess the only thing to do now is just test it, which I'm going to hit the snow block so it drops in first available cell. So I want to drop it into this cell here. The villager. He gets dropped down immediately, and you can do whatever you want with him. So I guess next thing would just be testing with second villager. Second cell, good. Let's say I get rid of this villager, but I want to put the next villager into this cell. Place the villager. Go over the minecart, and he should be dropped into that one. Yep, it works. So now what I have to do is I have to add a system to be able to store the minecart and to release the minecart when I eject one of the villagers from its cell. Alright, it ain't perfect, but it's good enough for me not to care. Currently, by villager. Currently, I have this system here, which villager gets picked up by minecart, dropped to the first available cell, and destroyed by the cauldron and put into the dispenser. So now, if I want to call it, it should just be as simple as hitting that. I would. Well, I'm gonna figure that one out. Give me a sec. Alright, this should all work. I just redid a bit of the circuitry down here so it actually activates. But now we should be able to just pop a villager into the cell. Into the first available cell, drops down. Minecart gets destroyed by cauldron and then put into didn't mean to put this button. And gets put into the dispenser. So now if I want to put the villager back to wherever I want to put it, hit that, minecart gets dropped down, picked up, and we can move him out. And it all gets reset. Okay. So now I have to figure out a bit of the circuitry of... You know, I'll figure that out later. Because right now I need to figure out a way, like let's just say all 3 of these are filled up. I need to figure out a way to detect if there's still a villager in the minecart and to send it back, I believe. Which the thing is if we, let's just say, for instance, one of the issues is if we put a villager into the first cell and all that, and let's just say we want to we accidentally hit this one and we want to put it in this cell, it will default to those back 3. But if all of them are filled up, so let's just do this to fill them all up. One of the issues we run into is the fact that it'll just go over. There's like nothing I can do about that. And then the bad stuff happens. So you got villager picked up. Yeah, that. I don't want that to happen. So, somehow, or through some sort of logic, I have to be able to detect if a villager's still in the minecart, and then if, let's just say, this villager isn't here, but I accidentally select this cell is already filled, the villager will skip over this cell because this activator rail is off. So what I want it to do is I want to detect if there's a villager still in the minecart, and then trigger these bottom sections down here to be able to turn that back on, and so when the villager goes back through this way, it will drop off to this cell. But that's some logic I'm going to do later. We're using a small little trick to be able to detect if a villager is still in a minecart. Since villagers are a bit bigger than a solid block while in a minecart, you can actually just use a stone brush blade on top, and you can like just detect when they're in a minecart. So if I kill them, it depowers. So we're just going to use that little bit of logic to be able to detect if villager is still in the minecart. So using that little tidbit of information, I came up with this little system here that detects when a villager has gone through, deactivates all of these slices, and sends the minecart going back that way. So if we have a villager in a minecart, it will go through the entire system, and it'll just send it all the way back. Now, probably should just stop that. So now I need to figure out what to do with the villager after. Chances are I'll just use some fancy logic to just be, not really fancy, to be able to just send them back to wherever. Alright, I did a little bit of logic, and now this thing is a little bit better. It's completely spam proof, so you just hit them, and it'll always just default to 1. Now, there's the very small off chance that 2 of them will be stuck in the same state back here, but, like, I wouldn't worry too much about it. So if you tick, freeze, boop, boop, tick, freeze, they will both be turned on. But it will default to the first one that is activated, and if you just hit a nothing note block, they will fix themselves. Alright, I'm gonna scale this up until we get a actual functional, so I want it to be 20 long, so I'm gonna scale it up till it gets to about the size I want. Alright, I believe I figured out the system that I'm looking for, to attach to this side. Basically what I'm doing is just detecting if there's a villager going through, so, villager puts in a minecart, it's not able to go into any of them, is able to come back, it'll just drop down there, and I'll send that back to wherever. But just to simulate, minecart comes through, none available, manage to drop one off, it'll go down there. So now I'm just gonna attach this to there, and I need to take a dropper chain, take that, and then put it all the way to this chest there. So yeah, I'm gonna do that real quick. Alright, I did a little bit of work, a bit of rail redirection shenanigans, so now it should all work. I have the output of villager overflow go to the same place where villagers that are pulled out of their cells go. So, yeah. Now I need to figure out an actual central control panel and all of that. Alright, I made the selection panel. It's cool. It's good sometimes. Not exactly spam proof, but it's like good enough. Here's circuitry if you want it. It's really simple. There's an item in here, and you just hit a button or that, and it'll select a panel. It's simple. It's not hard to figure out. But now I need to just figure out how exactly I'm going to deal with the logic of the system to be able to decide which cell I want to send it to. Because I'm going to have 4 specific halls, right side, left side, and then mirrored on the other side, right side and left side. And there's also going to be like the kill and the zombification, which is why I have 6, but I think I'm going to add a 7th one for extraction. So if I want to put it somewhere else in the world or take it out of the trading hall, I can do that. Alright. Now I need to figure out how exactly I want the interface to be. I'm thinking of having selection panel on one side, 4 villagers, and then the crucifixion chamber in the middle. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, I ripped down the one of those to its like absolute bare essentials, so it looks like this. I'm gonna figure out carpet shit later because currently Pathfind outside of carpets, but they're too stupid to realize that they can't actually get to their workstations, which could fuck up a lot of shit in other parts of the system, but we'll mess with that later. But this is the basic system. It's simple. All it's literally is selection and then taking out. That's literally all it is. So I'm gonna attach this to that, and now I also need a zombification chamber so I can zombify them, but I'm gonna figure that out in a sec. Okay, I did a bit of looking and doing a bit of shit, and I found this is like the best way to be able to, well, for me personally, the way how I'm able to zombify a villager. Basically, it's just using a zombie with a sharpness 5 axe, and you could just send in a villager, it will die, and it will be sent out. So we have the villager here, we can put him in a minecart, and then the zombie will lock onto him, kill him, and it will power it. Now, one of the things is, one of the concerns I had was if you accidentally send in a zombie villager from the control panel, what usually would happen is it'd get stuck, but this one, it'll just keep on sending it through because it's not getting triggered by the pressure plate. So yeah, I'm gonna hook this up, and that up into a selection area. This is the basic selection panel I have thought out. You have the selections on the here, you have the villagers and their hold over here, and you have the rehabilitation center in the middle. So I'm going to do a bit of wiring to figure out how I want to do all this, because the basic input is straight through here. So yeah, I'm gonna figure that out because I need to figure out a way how to how to decide where a villager needs to go. I'm not too sure how to do that quite yet. So I was doing a bit of testing and I found out something. You place a villager down with the trapdoor at its head, it can still track that. A villager won't actually lock onto that, which is a bit odd, whatever. See, he's trying to walk up, it can't do that. But for some fucked up, indiscernible reason, you put like a sea pickle down, he won't actually track to it. I don't fucking know why. And just, this villager will lock onto it. I don't know. It's just how it works. It also works with lanterns. I don't understand at all. Like, it just works. Okay, it makes no sense. He can't track to it. He does. So I just lantern on the floor. Works fine. So let's have the trapdoor, so you keep him in there. It works. I don't judge. Yeah. Also, chains and end rods do the same thing. I just thought they were stupider, so I didn't do that. This one still gives you, like, quite a lot of access. I wish you could do carpets, but carpet don't work, because carpet's carpet. So now I just have to figure out how exactly I plan on doing all the wiring bullshit. So take the output of that, wrap it to there, and figure that out. Okay. I think I figured out the circuit of what I need, because I also have to keep in mind its directionality, because rails are fucking stupid. But basically, I have this system here, which is able to figure itself out, basically. So it'll go to the first one's kind of sort of selected. But you have first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. You have all selections, but basically what it does is it will take the output, drop it down, and it'll curve the rail based on with it. So let's just say I wanted to put it at, I don't know. I'll figure it out later, but basically that one will curve that, so it will go down this one. Let's just say you want to have it go to this one. I think it's this one. You will curve it to base on that one. So they line up equally every time. You start from here, go through, then down, then through. Now you do have to keep in mind directionality, which is why it's pretty easy. So let's just say you flip the other way and this rail's curved that way. Yeah, and if you're going the other way, it's just this. You flip it, you got a little dust redirection thing. So I'm gonna attach this down under there and do a bunch of fancy wiring to make it good. Okay, so I set it up and I'm hoping this works. I have one villager and I just want to get him to be rehabilitated. So I have the rehabilitation selected, should drop him down, picked up by a minecart, go through the sorter. Let's put into there. It should just pop up straight in here. And then he should be dropped off right back into the first cell again. Perfect. Yep, that works. It's not spam proof, so you can't just like send 4 and all get infected, but it's like good enough. But then you cure them and do whatever. So I think this is a good design for it right now. Now I need to attach it to the hull down there. I need to attach 4 sides and then deal with the layout. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Okay, I'm pretty sure all the logic in the system for selecting the specific hulls is now done. I've routed a few rail lines around to be able to put the villagers where I want them. So if I want to send one to hull A, click on it, send the villager. Now there's a bit of a cooldown, but it's not very long. Get sent there. Chamber. Down. Dropped in the first slot. He's in a hull A. Hull B. This middle villager. Send him off. Which is just goes up. And then we'll just drop down to here. That will end up. Hold up. I'm dumb as rocks. Hold up. There we go. Yeah, it's also gonna be the same over here. Okay. So he's now there. And we now have to get this bitch to Hull C. Send you. But you should be going up one of those. Up to Hull C. And then last one, Hull D, he should end up there. Drops down, gets picked up. Move through the system. Up. Oop, that's the wrong one. Why are you in the wrong one? Be Hull D. Why are you not going to Hull D? Did you snap wrong? What's going on, villager? Okay. Hull D selected. Okay. Go. Picked up, cross, down. Yeah, yep. Here, up the chamber. There you go. Figured it out. Drop the first available cell. Minecart gets yeeted over there. Easy. Okay. So that does seem good. So I'm gonna need to deal. There's two more things I actually need to do before I can start making decorating and make it look good. There is actually three things, technically speaking. The kill chamber, I need the trading area, so I cycle trades, and I need a villager breeder underneath. Come put the breeder right here so I can call a villager to up here. Also pretty sure I need to get a eject, so eject it out through here somewhere, so we're able to do whatever we want with it. So yeah, a few more things I have to do, then it'll be ready. Alright, I set up the crucifixion chamber. It's actually quite simple. Villager gets dropped down, and then dies. So we're gonna select crucify. This villager gets to go. Be selected in that specific slice, drop down, and then killed. I'm gonna take the minecart, put it somewhere over there, but that's gonna be for me to do in a bit. So the next thing I need to do is figure out how I'm gonna do the trading, the cycling chamber, so you can cycle the trades and all of that. Well, that's a thing. So apparently, villagers are dumbasses. Okay. Okay, so if you put a villager in a minecart, it won't pick up its workstation. But if you set that to stone, he's then able to pick it up. Well, sure, whatever. Yeah, okay. I guess that makes sense. Alright. I think I did what I wanted to. I just have to do a bit of wiring and figure out what breeder I'm going to use. But I have this button here. This will call the villager and all that. You can also use it to like send the villager off, but chances will be blocking. So you hit that and it'll send the villager to there. But I have this button to call for a villager, which will be dropped in from above to land on there. This is going to be your trading area and all that. But I have to figure out a breeder and figure out how to hook it up from the back. Alright, this is the breeder I'm going to use. It has everything I want it to have. A bit of comparative subtraction, detect when it's full and turns off when it's full. But that's not very important. It's done. I see hook this up to the bottom of there, hook it up to the button, and it should be good. Villager breeder in. Now I just have to hook up the lines, and it should be good. Alright, I believe that is the entire system done. I have the ejection line now, and I made it look half-assed because, yeah, you know, it kind of has to look presentable. So I guess it's like the first test. This button here should grab a villager if I wired things correctly. I did not wire it correctly. Now if I hit this button, it should work. theoretically. Yep, grabs the villager, pops him up. And ta-da, it's a villager. And you just boop, boop, break it, send him on his way, request a new villager. Yep, so I have 2 villagers now, pretty cool. That light should still be on. That light will always be on until it's truly out of villagers. Now, I want to send it to the zombification, so it is sent to rehabilitation, and I want to send you. And it's not spam proof, so yeah. Kind of just stuck waiting. Oh, there we go. Oop, I have to fix that. Oh well. Comes down a bit. I have splash for weakness. Golden apple. Fucking da. Golden apple. Weakness. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. Quickly tick warp this, wait till they're done. These boys are now done. I want to send them to Hall B. Hall B. And I want to send it to the second slice. So I want to send a villager to this specific slice. We're going to send you. You should end up right here. Hopefully. Yep. Wait for that light to go off. I want to send one right here. So we're going to change it up. We're going to hit that light. And we're going to do Hull A. Yep, there you are. Okay, now I got you. I'm going to send you back. I'm going to send you back. There's 1. There's 2. Nifty. And let's just say we want to crucify it. You. Pick him up. Put him through a sorter. Kills him on a campfire. And replenishes minecart back into there. I want you to go too. Yep, I hear a dying villager. And you're gone. Alright. Yep, seems to all be working. Now, you may have realized this is actually very similar to the one that I actually built for my single player world. And that's because it basically is the exact same thing, it's just the wiring is so much better. A lot of the quality of life features has been improved, like this is now, you know, better spam proof than this. But yeah, it's still the exact same amount of cells, this functions very close to the same. But it's just much better wiring and a few quality of life features. That's all I have. If you want the world download is in the description. Like, subscribe, I don't know, I don't post ever, so